budgeting was the one part of personal finance that took me, I feel like, more effort to get on board with because I'm a natural spender. I'm a free spirit, and budgeting was always just like But it's been, a good 14 years, and I have been budgeting consistently. When Winston and I got married, at first we didn't budget, even though I know I should. I grew up knowing you should, but we just didn't. And then about a year in, it was like, okay, we need to start budgeting. And ever since then, I'm not gonna say we were perfect at it, but we pretty much have done it every single month. Like, it's just been part of our rhythm. And so recently I decided to introduce a little drama to my life, and I didn't look at the budget for 2 weeks. Now, some of you are like, Rachel, it's not that big of a deal, but it is for me. And it was fascinating what happened. So listen, we're going to talk about that in a second, but make sure to like, subscribe to this channel, and share this video with a friend. All right. So something that happened. One of the first things was I overspent on food. Yep. When I was not thinking about the money and I was just trying to live without a budget, I'm like, I'm going to just live my life, do what I want. Of course, our grocery category ended up going like crazy high. I was like, I didn't realize it. And I did Instacart a couple of things, which I usually don't. But I was like, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to just do it because it's convenient. And I'm not going to think about the money I'm spending on it. I'm just going to do it. By the end of it all, we had overspent and blown our food category, which we do sometimes when we stick with the budget, but it's not usually that bad. Number 2, my stress level skyrocketed. So I used to be stressed about budgeting back in the day. And now I found myself stressed without a budget because I was thinking like, this is probably too much, or like, can I do this? Or like, there was a couple of things I wanted to buy for a trip that was coming up. And I was like, I think I have it. And then I think we have the money for it. Like, I know we do, but is this in the constraint of what I would normally? I don't know. I just was so off track, and I just found myself more stressed about our money. And I didn't like that at all. There was not a lot of peace. Also, I underspent out of fear in other areas. So I was paranoid about losing control in certain areas. So food, not as much, obviously, because we overspent. But things like my shopping, I normally have a certain amount of money and I enjoy it. So I will spend within that. But when I didn't know what I had in that category, what was left, so I found myself just like, okay, I'm just not going to spend it. And again, that can be good because I feel like I did probably save some money because of that. But there also wasn't like this freedom and this permission to enjoy my money, because that's all about this, you guys. You live like no one else. So later you get to live and give like no one else. But I found myself, again, underspending because of that fear. Now, speaking of fear and scarcity, one area of your life that doesn't have to have either of those things is healthcare. And that's because Christian Healthcare Ministries is incredible. So when you lose your employer-sponsored health insurance, there may be a better option than COBRA. So consider Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM is an affordable, biblically based alternative to health insurance that could be a third of the price of COBRA. Yes, CHM programs start as low as $98 a month, and CHM has helped hundreds of thousands of families take care of over $11 billion in medical bills since 1981. CHM members are also supported spiritually with prayer when they have a medical event. So try getting that support with COBRA, because you won't. Now, whether you're going through a job loss, a life change, or you just want to consider other options to save on healthcare costs, check out CHM. So learn more at chministries.org/budget. That's chministries.org/budget. Number 4 is I realized how much of a habit I have looking at my EveryDollar app. So I'm not kidding. Do you ever like open your phone and you're like, how did I get here? Like for me, it's Instagram a lot of times. I'm like, I'm just going through Instagram and I don't even remember unlocking my phone. I don't even remember clicking into the app. Like it just happens. It's crazy. And I found myself opening EveryDollar during this experiment the same way. I would be like looking and I'm like, oh, wait, don't look. You're not supposed to be budgeting right now. But I found that I do have a habit. Like it sounds so nerdy, but it's true because I open that app almost every day to track transactions and to look at our money. And as we're planning things, like it is a part of my rhythm. And when you take that and remove it, I realized, oh my God, I'm addicted to Instagram and EveryDollar. And that is my life. So, because it's a good thing, but also I was like, get out of it, Rachel. What are you doing? Okay. And lastly, I did find it hard to jump back in and get back on track. So when I did, not try to look and not do anything with my money for 2 weeks. And then I was like, okay, the 2 weeks is up. I'm going to get back in. There were so many transactions that I hadn't tracked. Again, I was not organized. I didn't feel like things were matching up the way that I wanted them to. And I just found like this, like, it just was a heavier boulder, if you will, to like push up the mountain versus when it's in your rhythm. And so that's one of the most important things I realized is when a budget becomes part of your rhythm, you don't think about it. It doesn't take a ton of effort because it's just part of how you do things. You're tracking transactions, you're looking, if something comes up, then, you're putting another category in, so you're adjusting other stuff, but it just takes a few minutes. But when you don't do it for a long time, it does take more effort to get back in, which is, not always fun. So again, overspending on groceries is something that is so common, whether you are budgeting or you're not. At least budgeting helps you stay on track. But if you still struggle with it, be sure to check out my episode, How to Survive Grocery Shopping in 2025 for money saving tips. You can click here, or if you're listening on podcast, click the link below. All right, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love.